There comes a moment in everyone's life, a single moment, that redefines who you are. It's a moment that separates your past from your future. A moment that forces you to decide, do you rise above your fears or let them consume you? For years, I believed I was invisible, just another quiet face in the crowd. I avoided attention, kept my head down, and convinced myself that I had nothing worth saying. But deep inside, I knew I was hiding behind fear, hiding behind self doubt, hiding behind the thought that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't good enough. I never imagined I would one day stand before thousands speaking about Islam, faith, and life's greatest truths. It was never my plan. In fact, if you had told me years ago that I would be doing this, I would have laughed. Because back then, I had one overwhelming belief about myself. I was terrified of speaking. I still remember that day in public speaking class, the moment my worst fear came true. The professor called my name. My heart pounded so loud, I could barely hear him. My palms were sweating, my legs were shaking, and when I finally stood up to speak, I froze. The words wouldn't come. My voice cracked. My hands trembled. My thoughts scattered like leaves in the wind. And when the grades came out, it wasn't just bad. I was one step away from failing. I remember sitting in front of my professor, begging him, please, just give me a passing grade. I wasn't asking for an A. I wasn't even asking for a B. I just wanted to survive. That's when I realized something. I wasn't just afraid of speaking. I was afraid of people. What would they think? What if I embarrassed myself? What if I wasn't good enough? And so I stayed quiet. It was easier that way. Until something unexpected happened. One day, I stumbled upon the Quran. Not just reading it, but understanding it. And with every verse, every explanation, every reflection, something inside me shifted. It was as if the words were speaking directly to me, as if Allah Himself was guiding me out of my fears, out of my insecurities, and into a purpose greater than myself. Suddenly, I wasn't just learning the Quran. The Quran was shaping me. It was teaching me how to see the world differently, how to see myself differently. And the more I listened, the more I understood something that changed my life forever. True confidence doesn't come from people's approval. It comes from knowing that Allah is with you. And then came the real test. I was in the heart of New York City, a place that never stops moving. A place where thousands of people walk past you every second, lost in their own worlds. It was time for Asr prayer. I looked around. No mosque, no prayer room, no quiet corner. Just the streets of New York, filled with people who wouldn't understand. For a moment, I hesitated. Should I just wait until I get home? Should I skip it just this once? And then a voice inside me whispered, when you stand before Allah, why should you fear standing before people? So I took a deep breath, and I prayed, right there, in the middle of the street. People walked by. Some stared. People walked by. Some stared. Some whispered. Some laughed. But for the first time in my life, I didn't care. Because when you bow before Allah, you rise above the opinions of this world. And that moment changed me forever. I realized something powerful that day. Confidence doesn't come first. Conviction does. And once you have conviction, confidence follows. I stopped living in fear of people's opinions. I stopped seeking approval from the world. Because I realized the only approval that truly matters is Allah's, and that's when my fear disappeared. I started speaking, grew. Not because I wanted to be a speaker, not because I wanted attention, not because I wanted to be famous, but because I had something worth saying. And when you carry the message of truth, fear becomes irrelevant. Now I want to tell you something. You are stronger than you think. You are braver than you believe, and you are capable of things you never imagined. If a kid once failed at speaking, could stand before thousands and share this message, then what's stopping you? Maybe you're afraid of what people will say. Maybe you're afraid of failing. Maybe you're afraid that you're not good enough. But what if I told you that fear is nothing more than a whisper? That the only thing holding you back is your own mind, and that once you take the first step, everything changes. And if you're feeling trapped, if you're stuck in a situation where sin feels unavoidable, maybe it's interest. Maybe it's a mistake you can't undo. I want you to remember something powerful. Allah sees your struggle. He knows when you're trying. He knows the burdens you never asked for. And most importantly, He knows your heart. So don't lose hope. Seek His forgiveness. Take small steps. And never let guilt make you forget His mercy. Because the doors of tawbah or repentance are never closed. Not for you. Not for me. Not for anyone. And maybe, just maybe, the fear that once held you back will become the fire that pushes you forward. Sometimes, the hardest battles are the ones you fight alone. There will be moments when no one understands your journey. When the people around you question your choices, they tell you to follow the crowd, to blend in, to be normal. But you weren't created to blend in. You were created to stand out, to live with purpose, with conviction, with faith. And if standing for the truth means standing alone, then so be it. Because when you have Allah, you are never truly alone. One day, your story will be told, not by you, but by those who watched you live, by those who saw your struggles, by those who witnessed your strength. What will they say? Will they remember someone who feared the opinions of others? Or will they remember someone who stood with faith, with courage, with unshakable belief? Because the truth is, we don't get to choose when we leave this world. But we do get to choose what we leave behind. So live in a way that when your name is mentioned, it inspires others to be better. Don't wait for the moment. It doesn't exist. The right time is now. The right step is the one in front of you. The right choice is to begin. Because life is too short to live in fear. To live in fear. Too short to wait for approval. Too short to let doubt silence the truth in your heart. So rise, speak, live with conviction, and trust that when you stand with Allah, nothing in this world can break you.